But first now, let's bring in tonight's political panel, Liberal Senator Hollie Hughes and Labor MP Andrew Charlton. Hollie, Andrew, great to see you both. Look, let's of course start with the budget. The big question today has been inflation. The Treasurer committing $7.8 billion on new cost of living measures. This includes a $3.5 billion energy bill relief package. There have been some concerns from economists that this will drive up inflation. Hollie, what do you think? Do you think the budget here does risk increasing inflation and thus leading the RBA to have to put up rates?
Absolutely, but I think this $300 payment to every household is typical of this Labor government, completely ill-conceived, because again, no details about how it's going to be delivered and who it's going to be delivered to. And I know here with Andrew, I know there was a question, hypothetical question by Paul Fletcher in the House of Representatives today about someone who might have to move from Bellevue Hill to Parramatta and also have a lovely holiday home in Palm Beach, whether or not they would get payments for each of those homes. And we don't know because, again, the devil is in the detail and it's completely lacking. But what we do know, the one thing that the Treasurer has said that is true, this is a Labor budget. This is a tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend budget. It is hugely putting pressures on families. The spending has cost $30,000 per person in Australia. Do people in Australia feel $30,000 better off since this government's been in? No. The reality is every average family with a mortgage has had to find an additional $35,000 per year while seeing their standard of living drop by over 7.5%. Right. This is a budget that is just going to cause more and more pain for longer.
All right, Andrew, what's your response to this? I mean, I quoted Paul Kelly in my introduction there that this is an unorthodox budget in the sense that Labor is spending its way out of an inflation crisis. What do you think about that criticism today?
Well, firstly, can I just say, maybe Hollie wasn't listening last night, but she just said that the government hasn't provided any details. They haven't said who it's going to go to. And
it's going to everyone.
How it's going to be received. Well, it's going to everyone.
But it's going to every household.
It's going to be received as an automatic rebate.
So if you've got a couple of houses, do you get it a couple of times?
Don't interrupt
me. That's the details.
Hollie. You tried to attack me. Now you're trying to interrupt me. You asked two questions. The government has been incredibly clear on the answer to both of those questions. It goes to everybody and you get it automatically. So if those are your two main questions coming out of the budget, you need to read the budget papers more clearly. Shari, the reason why the Liberals are hopping up and down about this is because Labor has delivered what they could not. In 3 terms of government, they could not deliver a single budget surplus. And Labor has just delivered 2. And I understand they're mad about that. I understand that really sticks in their craw. But the truth is we have delivered the appropriate and prudent fiscal settings that they were unable to. And that is why we have been able to reduce inflation now by more than half from what they left us. So if all they've got is negativity and personal attacks and not reading the budget, then you can see why Australia didn't vote for them at the last election.
Come on, Andrew.
And you can see why they won't
just say it. Just say it. Tell Australians they've never had it so good, because that is the rhetoric coming out of the Albanese government. And I'm yet to meet one Australian whose life has got better since this government has been in power. We've seen housing go up, groceries go up, insurance go up, fuel go up. We know that there's been 12 interest rate rises. No one is better off. We said before the election it wouldn't be easy under Albanese, and quite frankly, whilst, yep, it's a slogan, it's proven very prophetic.
Hollie, you left all those prices going up. You left inflation at the end of your government
at the end of COVID?
Double the rate it is right now. You are the reason why all of those categories are going up.
This is homegrown inflation.
And we have now brought the rate of inflation down by half. You really can't argue with the numbers that are printed by the ABS.
So, Shari,
hang on, let me finish on this point. We have improved the budget position from what you left us by $215 billion over the 6 years to 2028.
Andrew, I do
you left us with $1 trillion of debt.
Andrew,
Sorry, you go.
Thank you. Look, we have seen economists today who are not politically aligned, who are saying that, yes, while the assistance on energy and rent might bring down those components of the CPI, many Australians having the extra cash could mean that they'll spend it in the economy, and that's a risk that will then raise inflation. So these are economists saying this today, not the Liberals. What's your response to that concern? Do you admit that that is a concern?
Well, the direct impact of these rebates and other cost of living measures, the Treasury has forecast, will reduce the rate of inflation this year and next year. And what that means is that we'll have a lower rate of headline inflation. And of course, that takes pressure off prices, and it also takes pressure off the RBA. There are plenty of different views out there about other consequences of that relief, but the Treasury has forecast. And we've seen this in the previous round of relief that we provided, where the Treasury also forecast that there would be a negative impact on inflation. And we did see that negative impact on inflation coming through, and inflation has come down since that last set of relief measures. That's exactly what we anticipate with these relief measures. Done it before, and we're proposing to do it again.
Although they do coincide, of course, with greater tax cuts that will come in from July 1, so people will have more money in their pocket. Hollie, just to be even-handed here, it is unusual to see the coalition arguing today that $300 energy assistance. I mean, the coalition has been hammering Labor over the fact that he promised energy relief would be, you'd have $275 more in your pocket from your power bills. The coalition has been hammering Labor over that promise, which has been a broken promise, rightly so. Labor is now saying every single Australian will have $300 back in their pocket in energy relief. So I find it unusual that the coalition has argued against this today. Wouldn't you be supportive of that?
Well, I think that the difference is, Shari, that they promised a $275 reduction in your power bills so that your power bills would actually decline, that energy would not be as expensive. Instead, we have seen it continue to increase in cost exponentially.
But this is going to be $300 off.
Yeah, but it's $300 off what your bill is. The electricity costs the same. You're just getting a rebate or a subsidy or a payment, whatever you want to call it. Your electricity bill hasn't gone down. It's just $300 that the government is paying. What Mr Albanese promised was that energy prices would drop. Why shouldn't all Australians have that?
Why should it be means tested? Why shouldn't all Australians have that?
I'm not saying that's what it should be. The question I asked to Andrew that he brushed off. No, is if you've got multiple houses, you know what's a mess, Andrew, is your government and what's happening. Do you know what we've just been doing in the Senate, Shari? This government is putting $1 billion towards rebranding the Administrative Appeals Tribunal to the Administrative Review Tribunal. The only change will be the A to the R, maybe a nice new font and letterhead, but mainly so they can stack it with Labor apparatchiks, as Mark Dreyfus's want to do. This is what we had a change of hours order in the Senate today so they could ram it through with some sweetheart deal with the Greens. You tell me $1 billion is best spent on a rebrand of the Administrative Appeals Tribunal versus going to either cost of living measures. Think of all the money that could go into mental health. We've got a mental health crisis. But no, let's do a rebrand for Mark Dreyfus. So if this is a government who's got priorities right, I don't think so.